Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Koralik with Figure It Out Productions. The following video is part of our Quick Shoot series.
Hey guys, it's Adam here. Recently I took a trip down to Austin, Texas, and I got to check out a lot of different video game stores while I was down there. This is the only one I ended up doing a video on, though. This is Game Over Videogames in Austin, and I guess there's actually multiple locations of this in Texas and even in other cities. Like, apparently this exists in Seattle now, and I think the guy said there were a few of them in California. It's like an up-and-coming chain, I guess, but this is the first store, or at least that's what I was told. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to give you guys a tour of it. So you already saw there were like Atari 2600 games there, and Sega Master System stuff, and NES stuff. Lots of stuff. A lot of cool. Like it's cool they have boxes like up on display there, as well as there's a bunch of Genesis games here, both boxed and loose cart. So you know, depending on what you like to collect there. There's some Sega CD stuff, and of course the absolutely required NHL 94. If you find Sega CD stuff, NHL 94 is always there. Again, more boxed. I like how they seem to kind of separate a lot of the sports games, which is kind of nice. They also sell a bunch of other stuff like this. This is a bunch of third-party controllers and power supplies, and then just random things like arcade sticks and all that kind of stuff. Look at that. They have Atari 5200 power supplies. I can't think of any other store I've ever seen before where they actually sell those like just on display. 5200 power supplies specifically. A lot of plushies there, as you can see. Plushies not so much my thing, but I know a lot of people do collect those. But yeah, if you like that, they have a bunch of options. And then back over here, you got a glass case up there. Plushie glass case has some boxed games, sealed games, some of the more sought after titles as well. A lot of stuff that people would come in for. Jaguar stuff. There's a couple of titles there inboxed. Back around here now we have more Super Nintendo stuff. Again, more controllers. None of those are officially licensed controllers. Those are all aftermarket ones. Those are coming up a lot lately these days. A lot of Super Nintendo cartridges, power supplies, N64 stuff. A lot of N64 power supplies, N64 cartridges. Yeah, you get it. Lots of stuff for each console, which is always nice to see. More of those third-party controllers, and then of course a lot of the more sought-after stuff for like the GameCube and PS2. As per usual, you put a lot of the high-end games and the high-demand games in the glass cases. Yeah, that cartridge right there, I don't know how well you can see it. It's like the shape of a Mega Drive cartridge, but it's actually like a Saturn import controller thing. And there was also a Sega Genesis Megatron. I don't know if you noticed that. I did a video on one of those a while back, although I did the Mega Drive version because at the time there was no Genesis version. But yeah, a lot of PS1 stuff. Very cool. A lot of games there. That's what Chip was looking for a lot. But I didn't mention it, and I don't think I did. I was down there because I was hanging out with my buddy Chip. He runs the podcast with me. And yeah, so that's why I was there. And he was mostly looking for PlayStation 1 stuff. And you'll see him up in the video later. Now, they also had some Dreamcast stuff. Shout out to my buddy Scott the Canadian. I was looking for you, dude. I was trying to see if I could find any Dreamcast games you needed. And I did. It's at some places. I don't know if it was this place in particular, but I don't think it was. A lot of GameCube stuff, which is always nice to see. Yeah, there you go. Take a nice look. There's some more third-party controllers. And, of course, a lot of this, again, with the sought-after games. Sonic Gems is apparently getting harder to find now. It's cool. I already have it, so I'm all set. But, yeah, Dreamcast, PS1, a couple of Jaguar CD games in there. Factory-sealed stuff. And then just some figurines and things. Also, they sell board games based on video games. So this is, like, obviously Monopoly editions of various video games. A lot of which I had no idea existed. I had no idea there was a Monopoly Skylanders. I don't know why that needs to be a thing, but hey, if kids like it, then yeah, great, sell it to them. I apologize, I'm recording with a cold. That's what my voice sounds a little weird. Yeah, a lot of PlayStation 2 stuff, as you can see here. And yeah, there you go. They separate all the sports stuff again, which again I appreciate. Just because I think they know a lot of people don't really want to buy the sports games. So if you want sports games specifically, they set them aside like that. more controllers. They even separated the greatest hits, which I do appreciate because those things are putrid. They're disgusting. They infest in a collection. I don't like it. So I'm glad they isolated them like that. Although I didn't notice that when I was in the store. Now, of course, the OG Xbox, sports stuff on the bottom, a lot of other stuff on the top. You know, definitely cool. I was looking through that. But of course, as always, I was limited by. Oh, they also had that gun, the sniper scope gun, which is cool. You don't see that very often, or at least I don't. Yeah, of course, I was limited to the space in my backpack, so that's all I had to work with. So you have to be very, you know, modest about what you pick up. So I try not to go nuts at stuff like this, just because, you know, how am I going to get home? A lot of Xbox 360 stuff, as you can see. Hard drives and controllers and a lot of those guitars, man, for like Guitar Heroes and stuff. More games, more third-party controllers. I think those are the Rock Candy controllers. I like how they grouped all the music games together. I'm just noticing that now. Like, that wasn't just the 360. It was also the PS2 and other things. More controllers and more just random accessories, controller adapters, various video cables, etc., for all these other consoles. Like USB controllers, I think, were there too. Obviously, more 360 stuff. Skyrim Collector's Edition for the PS3. I remember at one point, man, Best Buy was trying to get rid of those because those take up so much real estate, and they were trying to get rid of them for like $30. Definitely cool. Wii stuff, Wii controllers, Wii games. There's a little bit of Wii U stuff in there, not too much, which is not surprising. You don't really see Wii U stuff in places like this very often. PS3, a lot of that stuff. A lot of the commons, I didn't really see anything special in the PS3 section. Xbox One, PS4, a lot of that, which is cool. Oh, sorry, this is where the Wii U stuff is. But yeah, as you can see, not a whole lot of Wii U stuff, which again is not particularly surprising, but there it is. More controllers, more boxes, and yet more controllers, more adapters. A lot of Wii, like those dance board, not the dance board, the exercise board, whatever it's called, the balance board, I think is what it's called. A lot of those for some reason. And they sell a lot of t-shirts. I thought that t-shirt was pretty cool. Didn't end up getting it, but it was a neat shirt. A lot of those shirts are made by the store and sold just in the store. Then they had a couple of arcade machines and a GameCube kiosk. And a lot of portable stuff was over here. So like DS and 3DS. And there was a little bit of Virtual Boy there. The other thing that's cool about this store is that it has like a little mini museum in it. Look at that. You can see me. So they have a bunch of consoles just set up. These are not for sale. They just have little tags and they just give you information about that particular device. So I guess you could play that 2600, but like everything else here, just so you can see what that console is and learn a little bit about it. I liked that. I can't think of any other game store that I know of anyway that's done that, where they just set up a museum inside the game store. So a lot of cool things to see, including a Bandai Pladia. I'd never seen one of those in person before. That's cool. Yeah, more consoles of various types. NES top loader there. A lot of Sega hardware. Master System, Virtual Boy with the stand. There's that Casio. I think it's Casio keyboard. And then this, like, they call that the Famicom, but that's not a Famicom. I looked at it. That's a Famiclone. I think, you know, that was either a mistake. I don't know what the deal with what that is, but yeah. Lots of more boxes and stuff. King of Kong poster signed, arcade stuff. I think that's a Pong machine, although forgive me if I'm not totally sure on that one. More boxes for all this stuff. I'm sure none of this was for sale. I didn't ask, but you know, it's in their little museum section, so I would imagine that it's not. A lot of second-gen stuff like Atari computers and televisions, Coleco's, Atari consoles, Pong clones, that's first-gen stuff. And then a lot of these like retro arcade things and more Pong clones, Magnavox, Odyssey stuff, and all these other, just a lot of that stuff I'm not super familiar with, but a lot of it's cool. Coleco Gemini box, which is nice to see. I have one of those, but not the box. But yeah, back to games. We got a bunch of PSP and PS Vita there. Then some just other random little video game assorted items. A lot of artwork and stuff, and pins and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. Not really my thing, if I'm honest, but you know, that's still cool to see. A lot of Skylanders, if you're into that. Looks like they have just about every one of them. And then they have an import section. They actually had OG Xbox imports, which excited me, but I had them all, so I was like, oh, damn. Yeah, a lot of Super Famicom and There's a yellowed Saturn. You know, it needs to be, you know, cleaned and stuff, but still cool. A lot of PS2 and PS1 imports, some Dreamcast imports, GameCube imports, PS3 imports. In overall, man, it's just an import section, so you never really know what you're going to find in there. So those are always kind of cool to check out. Then there's the Game Boy section. Got a lot of Game Boy and Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and yeah, so you can see it there. They have the Game Boy printer in there. Very cool. The lights in there change. See, it's turning green. That color rotates between like green and blue. See, it's changing blue again. And then we have some more of the obscure handhelds there. There was stuff for like the the N-Gage and other things. More PSP, Game Gear, as well as the consoles themselves. Yeah, so it's cool to get a look at that. And skipping over here, you can see which consoles they have for sale. And I guess the little mushroom on top, Chip was telling me, it means that it comes with controllers and cables and all that stuff. There was some deal to that, though I'm not entirely sure what it was. They offer repair services, and they have a bunch of consoles back there, both legit and clone consoles. I would not personally recommend buying clone consoles, but you know, you do you. 32X games, not too many of them, but still cool to see. And of course, these are a lot of the more sought-after games, because the ones up on the walls are generally a lot more of the commons. So if there's anything you like, you know, I want the Zelda, I want Mario, or whatever, probably going to be in the front. Then just other various first-gen and second-gen stuff. They sell a lot of manuals and things, which is really cool, especially in those like bags and everything. Yeah, and then there's Chip, and he's holding something that I thought was really, really cool. That is a Famiclone that looks like a Super Famicom. I just thought that was really neat, so I wanted to give you guys a nice look at it. So that was Game Over Video Games in Austin, Texas. Pretty cool store, as you can see. And there, I only ended up getting one thing, as you can see. I didn't exactly go insane in that particular store. Probably could have, but I chose not to. I was limited by just a backpack, you know, to bring all my stuff back. And I made the right decision, because when I came back to Chicago, my backpack was completely full. So it's pretty good that I had stayed pretty reserved. I mean, that was the first store we went to, so I had to think ahead. Now, the one thing I did get, though, is this. This is a not-for-resale copy of Mech Assault for the original Xbox. This is the full, complete game, but instead of in the usual like DVD case that it was sold in, this is the not-for-resale version. It looks kind of like a demo disc. I'm honestly not sure what the origin of this is. I looked into it, and I couldn't find anything solid. Some people said it came with a kiosk unit. Other people said that it came with some sort of Xbox Live kit bundle. Nobody was really 100% sure, and unfortunately, therefore, I am not. If anybody out there knows, I would like to know. It's a cardboard little paper case deal. It says it's got a lot of French on it, which leads me to think this might be Canadian, although I'm not sure about that. It is the full version of the game. On the back, it has some sort of CD set number, which makes it seem like it was very tied to your Xbox Live account. The disc itself is slightly different. It does say not for resale on it, but you know, beyond that, nothing special. I only paid $2 for it, which makes it sound like, whoa, shit, what a good deal! $2 for a not for resale. I've looked online; they're only worth like $4 or $5. It's an OG Xbox. Nothing's really worth anything. But yeah, it was definitely cool to pick up, just because I had never seen this before. So that was cool. But yeah, beyond that, man, that was all I got from that particular store. I was really tempted to get that Super Famicom Famiclone thing that you guys saw, but then I thought, like, first of all, I'd have to get that back here, and that'd be difficult. Second, literally the only reason I wanted it was just to show you guys, and then it would just collect dust somewhere. Like, I couldn't even pretend to want to use that thing. So just getting a clip of it was good enough, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, so that's it. Thank you to Game Over Video Games for letting me film in there. Thank you to Chip for taking me around to a bunch of various stores. This will be the only full store tour that I do from that whole Texas trip. We went to a lot of stores, but I just kind of decided against filming in other ones, except for like small clips here and there, because otherwise all of November 2016 content would have been just more game stores, and I know you guys aren't really... You guys, a lot of you like it, but a lot of you don't, so it's whatever. But yeah, to those of you who do, there will be clips in the upcoming playload, so you can check out other stores if you're ever in that area. But yeah, guys, that's it. Thank you again to Chip. Thank you to Game Over Video Games. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all later.